welcome to another episode of HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. I'm Neelou Goodarzi.
And I'm Trey Dixon, and the two of us just saw A Most Violent Year. A Most Violent Year is the new film from writer-director J.C. Chandor, who also wrote Margin Call and directed Margin Call, as well as 2012's All Is Lost. It stars Oscar Isaacs, Jessica Chastain, and Albert Brooks. And the story centers on Abel Ferreira, who is a successful immigrant gasoline tycoon who has his business threatened by a upcoming crime wave in 1981 New York City. So, Neelou, what do you think of this movie?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
We both loved it, and I don't know. I was like hooked from the beginning because it's just, I don't know. It was interesting. It was suspenseful.
Aren't you glad that it's December, that we're getting so many good movies now?
Yeah. I am glad.
This is the time to be in the movies, and this is one of the movies that you should probably see.
Definitely.
Yeah. As I mentioned, the story takes place in 1981 in New York City, which, statistically speaking, is the most violent year, hence the title, in that city's entire history. And we center in on Abel Ferreira, who built his business from the ground up, but this big crime wave is basically affecting everything that he's doing. So he's trying to figure out who's stealing my gas, who's ripping off my tankers, who's attacking my men, who's doing this. Mm-hmm. While that's happening, he's also being litigated by the IRS. People are accusing him of wrongdoing. His business grew during such a short amount of time. People are thinking, okay, he must have done this illegally. So they're trying to figure out if he's doing any wrongdoing, and he's trying to convince them that, no, I'm straight-laced, I'm doing everything right. While that's happening, he also bought out some land in a marina so he could effectively distribute his product overseas and let his business grow. And he doesn't actually have the money. He loaned it out under a bank that backs out on him after one of his men attacked two people who were trying to rob the tanker. So when they find out about it, they say, no, we don't want to have anything to do with you. So now he doesn't have enough money, and he's trying to scramble all of this together. So he's got three different major issues happening, and it's so interesting to see how he reacts throughout the course of the movie because pressure is constantly being...
Right.
Yeah.
But his character's so interesting too because he's so calm and he's so.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was more relaxed than I was. I was like.
Yeah.
I was freaking out the whole time.
Something that I really like about J.C. Chandor is that, like Martin Scorsese, like Paul Thomas Anderson, he's really good with actors, and he also knows how to effectively establish a very specific look and feel for a time and place. And part of what makes this movie so tense and part of what makes you interested in seeing how he's going to react is just how thick and desperate the atmosphere is. It's always, it's like, it's gray and grainy and everybody seems to be in a bad mood, and it's really tense, and that really adds to some of the tension that, you know, you get from his character and how he interacts with everybody else.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I thought the acting was incredible too. But one thing, like, I thought Jessica Chastain was incredible. Yeah. I wouldn't register her as like, oh, she'd be great for this part. But I thought she really pulled it off.
No, with Jessica Chastain and actors like Oscar Isaacs, it's one of those just add water scenarios.
Yeah.
Just throw them in there and watch them do
they were
their
incredible, and I loved their chemistry, and
I really like their dynamic because he is straight-laced. He says, no, I have ethics. I have a moral code. This is how we do things. This is how we've always done things. This is how we're going to continue doing things. And she's like, you need to not be such a pansy. You need to go out there and knock some heads together. And she's way ballsier than he is.
Definitely.
So I really like the way that the two of those like play off of each other. It's a really interesting dynamic.
I agree. She was actually kind of scary.
Yeah, I know.
There were a few times where...
There's a scene in the movie where they...
Is it when they hit the deer?
Yeah, they hit a deer, and she's like, get out of the car, put it out of its misery. And he's like, okay. So he gets out, and he's looking for a rock or something, and he turns around, and then like you just hear this bang out of nowhere. And, like everybody in the theater jumps, and it was her. She just shot this thing. It's like, where'd she get a gun?
She was like emotionless too. She didn't care.
Yeah.
She shot it, sat in the car.
Yeah.
I mean.
So that's, and compare that to this really, really like methodical, do everything by the book type of personality, and you have a really interesting relationship.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think that the score was really nice. I thought that it was very well composed. It's done by Alexander Ebert, who did the score for All Is Lost. I don't know if he worked on Margin Call, but it's a really interesting blend of synth and acoustics. Really, it sets the tone really well.
That's something I didn't notice for some reason.
I really.
Now that you mention it, I feel like looking back, like it really set the mood. But
yeah,
for some reason, I didn't notice.
Even if the story is something that you can't necessarily follow because it is a very thick plot.
It is.
There's so much technical prowess that you can fall back on. Sometimes I would lose focus because I was just trying to pay attention at all the work that went into this movie. It's beautifully shot.
It is.
It looks absolutely amazing. The sound design is really great. There was one instance where there was a chase scene and I heard some mild audio clipping, but other than that, like flawless job, bang up job, really great.
It was a great job. Mm-hmm. And one thing I really liked about it, although it was a thick plot, I feel like, a lot of times where there are so many different things going on, and one of them is more interesting than the other, and so like it'll switch, and you'll be like, okay, I'm bored.
Yeah, no, that happens a lot with polyfocal dramas.
It didn't happen with this though. At least not with me.
No, it was.
I thought it was kind of consistent.
It was a very, very specific tone throughout. You always had the same sort of intensity as every scene led to the next.
Exactly, I was like this the whole time.
Yeah, no, really, really well done. I think what's worth noting also is that while we have this plot where it's about a businessman who's trying to protect his business from being cut down from beneath him, usually you think of that plot and you see in your mind's eye, okay, I know how the plot's going to play out. This main character is going to be like, oh, I'm going to slice as many throats as I need to in order to keep mine above water. And that's not the way it is in this movie.
It was a complete plot twist, but like at the beginning.
He's a very moral individual, which is something you would never expect from a plot like this. You see movies like There Will Be Blood or Citizen Kane even to some extent like Goodfellas, not Goodfellas. What was that DiCaprio movie that came out recently? Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, where you expect these people to react a certain way.
Right.
But I thought it was such a neat subversion how this character is so.
I agree. It was really refreshing. It was kind of like
has such a very nice moral compass, and he has a code and he believes in something, and I don't know. It's just nice to see a character like that in movies now, especially a movie so dark. I really like this movie.
Me too. And I believe it's only coming out in certain theaters in like LA and New York at least. When it first comes out. We
were lucky enough to get a press screening. Pretty soon there will be a few select theaters in Houston that'll be showing it, but I think this is a movie everybody should see. Yeah. It's near perfect. There's like one instance that took me out of the movie, and it has to do with the end of the film. It's not much of a spoiler. It would be a spoiler.
Don't spoil it.
It would be a spoiler if I were to voice it badly. But what happens is that at the end of the film, somebody shows up at a certain place,
right?
And you don't know how he got there or how he knew to be there, and then something happens, and the movie ends. And
that's a good good way to put it.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that was the most realistic way to end that movie. It felt really scripty. That one moment was the only scripty part of the movie that took me out of it, but the rest of it was really, really well written and directed. And
I agree, but I don't know. I didn't think it was scripty.
Yeah, I was really searching for like a chink in the armor. Like you
just want to knock him down.
Well, I need to very rarely will you see a perfect movie.
Just rave
very rarely will you see a perfect movie. It happens every now and again. It's called 2001: A Space Odyssey,
which I haven't seen.
Well, see it because it's being re-released also. Yeah. Well, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
How much would you give it on a scale from 1 to 10? 10?
11, 12. I don't know. I just really liked it. So.
Realistically, what would you give it? Like
a 9.5.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. It's close to perfect, like you said.
With some mild audio clipping and one small bit at the end that took me out of the film, but otherwise perfect. Go see it. It's really great. We loved it.
We did.
Thank you for watching HCC MovieMakers Academy Movie Reviews. We're brought to you by HCC TV and the Houston Community College Filmmaking Program. Visit us on the web at www.hccs.edu and enroll yourself in the art of filmmaking. Visit us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel if you'd like some alerts on more videos just like this. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.